Oh. I wonder if kids who grow up wealthier than I did have a different experience of childhood. I mean, obviously they do. Obviously, there's got to be some differences, but I wonder if they experience the timelessness and yet rush that is childhood. I wonder if they experience that any differently. Although I guess I am being class reductionist Phoebes again. Look at you go, Matt Blank. Look at you go. Thank you, Glitch Dash, for the popcorn and alien, you know. Always glad to see you guys in the chat. He just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day in January like he said it'd be if he ever left me. Down, 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 down. Case of gone is all he carried as he got on the Jamestown ferry. Hey, Peter. Hey, dumb cunt. Alien popcorn does sound pretty fucking delicious, doesn't it, Matt? Doesn't it? I wonder what flavors it would have, you know? Butter, cheddar, space cheese. What the hell is even that? You're gonna have to be more specific, my friend. I mean, there's plenty of things in this shot right now that could cause uh, confusion and fear and wonder amongst people that are uninitiated. So, Milky Way, huh? Eh? Hey Matt, you watch me and Paul. Do you think, and you've been watching me for a while now, do you think we're copies of each other? Because I was arguing with the hater subs, and like one of the points that keeps getting brought up over there, which I don't interact with them often. For like 2 or 3 days, every 3 or 4 weeks, I will interact with them and fuck with them, and then I leave them to their business for another 3 or 4 weeks, you know? And the last time I was fucking with him, I got this charge of me and Paul being like I'm just a carbon copy of Paul, man. I'm just doing the exact same shit. And I agree that I'm doing the same format. But I think that our like mannerisms and stuff are pretty different. I think our angle of approach is pretty different. I have a way more permissive chat than Paul does. So I just thought I'd ask somebody who watches both of us. Hey, what's up, dog? I ain't heard that shit since I was in jail, bro. Ah, that's been years. That's been years, but there was a kid in the same fucking cell that I was in that was how he referred to everybody, you know? I get out of the shower, be all dressed and everything, walking towards my bunk. He'd be like, "Sup, dog? You want to come play chess?" It's like, yeah, I guess I do. "Sup, dog? Hand me the remote." You know, it's like, all right. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It really does help. Every single time you hit that like button, it's another chance to send the stream out to even more people and increase the interestingness of the stream by a significant margin by increasing the amount of people engaging in the chat. Paul, the one trying to copy you? You think so? You think Paul's the one trying to copy me? I doubt it. No, I think like everyone, you take a little bit from Paul, but everyone takes a little bit from everyone, right? Yeah, well, that's what I would say. Yeah, I'm sure that there are aspects of my personality, presentation, or argumentative style, or something like that, that has taken cues from Paul. But you know, it's something that like I don't want to be accused of that if it comes from nowhere. If it does come from nowhere, and that's what I think it is, you know, if it does come from nowhere, it's whatever. But I would just like to, I don't know, it's like an accusation I didn't think had any weight behind it, but I was like, let me just ask somebody, you know? Let me just make the point. Oh man, spooky spooks. You are in a good mood tonight, aren't you, bud? Why your teeth yellow? Because I grew up in the deep south where we drink a lot of fucking sweet tea. My teeth are yellow for the same reason a Brit's teeth are usually yellow. That and nicotine. So, yeah, the same reason a Brit's teeth are yellow. By the way, make sure you guys hit that like button. If half of you guys hit that like button right now, we would have something like 80 fucking likes instantly. So come on, hit that button. You can either double tap your screen or hit the little bar over here. As far as what we're going to talk about, that's ultimately up to you guys. Consider sending a super chat to make sure that your message gets read. Otherwise, I will sort through the chat and try to find interesting, readable, and original messages and give them a little response. And we'll have something like a conversation. That's the idea here. We could talk about politics. I've got a few little topics put in the headline there. We can talk about current events or philosophy or whatever the fuck you want to talk about. Did you miss me? Spooky, are you manic or something? Are you drunk or manic? What the fuck is this man doing? Well, I'm not a man, number one, so I'm not doing anything. But number two, who is spamming? Oh, literally, it's not even people spamming. It's just people like sending messages over and over again that get caught by the filters. Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes the chat is just not very readable, and this is one of those times, you know? Part of me is like, oh, let's put it on slow mode. Let's keep things a little restricted. But part of me is like, let's see what happens. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Half of you guys hit that like button right now, and we'd have over 150 likes like that. So come on, hit the fucking button. Do your duty. No, just missed you, and I hope you missed me. I guess, Spooky. You're in here pretty often, though, right? Your streams are always so popular. I mean, like honestly, some of it's popularity, some of it's people that just like to come on here and fuck on me. Some of it's just people that find me kind of like strange, you know, unique to watch and listen to. I'm fine with that. You know, love me or hate me as long as you rate me. Do you feel pretty? I mean, I guess it depends on the day. Like right now in this particular outfit, yeah, honestly. Um, I've definitely got some outfits, like especially some winter fits where I don't feel as pretty. I can definitely look pretty slovenly sometimes, but when it comes to like this particular outfit, yeah, I think I'm pretty like attractive in this outfit and this like hairstyle and everything. I don't think I'm like drop dead gorgeous, but yeah, I feel pretty. There it is. You need a therapist? Oh, for many things, but fortunately, gender dysphoria is not one of those. That's actually one of those things that was pretty much figured out when I was like 21, actually. I've already been through that process of going to the therapist, and it's like, are you really trans? Yes. Are you really, really trans? Yes. Tell me stories from your childhood. Stories from my childhood. Blah, 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 you know? Back and forth until some kind of conclusion is reached that allows you to get HRT. Already been through that. As far as just the general therapy, everybody needs that, my friend, especially these days, to be sane and at all. So we have all been made to be to necessitate. We've all been made to necessitate the use of mental health doctors and things like that. I mean, I guess not all of us, not everybody does, but most of us. Are you pre or post op? Really weird question because you're ultimately just asking, like, do you have a penis hanging between your legs or a vagina? Which is really fucking just strange. One of those questions that cisgender people never get asked, but I'm pre op, if you must know. What's your gender? I think you can probably guess with the titties and the feminine name. I think you can probably guess. You want me to assume your gender? I mean, like, most people are cool with you assuming their gender. Like, the only time people ever get upset about that kind of thing is when you correct somebody and then they get self-righteous about it. So let's say I, as a trans woman, am walking somewhere in public, and you, like, let's say I'm standing in line, and you need to cut in front of me real quick to get to some other part of the store, and you say, um, "Excuse me, sir," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no, okay, yeah, for sure, it's ma'am, by the way," and you just walk by and go about your business, then you're fine, and nobody's gonna react badly to that. If you go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see you. I apologize, ma'am. Thank you," and go on about your business, nobody's going to be mad. But if you then go, "No, I'm pretty sure you're a sir. I was pretty sure you're born with a dick, actually," at that point, you're probably going to get yourself into some shit. I'm sorry. But that's just breaking social code in general. Trans people are not the only place where this happens. If you, um, for example, if you like walk up to, like, if you say it's a black guy in the same situation, and or just a black person in general, frankly, but I guess the example I'm thinking of probably works better with black men. Say it's a black man standing there, and the same situation happens, and somebody says that and says, "Excuse me, can I get by you real quick just so I can get to that little section over there?" They're gonna like be like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, for sure. Let me just back up," or whatever. Let's say that person just goes about their business, everything's fine. But let's say that person like goes up and is like, "Out of the way, boy," or something like that. There's probably going to be a way different reaction that happens, right? And the reason why people don't see a distinct, or the reason why people see such a profound distinction between these things comes down only to the level of social acceptance afforded to different marginalized groups in this country. We've done better on civil rights when it comes to people of color than we have for queer people, uh, at least in terms of like cultural acceptance. So maybe not civil rights, but in terms of cultural acceptance, we've done way better with people of color than we have with queer people. And so you were more likely to receive a bad reaction for violating some kind of social standard when it comes to people of color than you are to violating some kind of social standard where it pertains to queer people. Now, that doesn't mean that violating either of those social standards is okay. I'm not condoning either of those kinds of behavior, but it's interesting to me, right? It's interesting to me that people are so willing to defend their ability to break the social compact when it comes to queer people. They just want to be a dickhead. That's ultimately what this comes down to, and that's the point I'm trying to make. There are just some people out there that want to be a dickhead, and they're too pussy to be a dickhead to people that they know have some kind of cultural ammunition against them, that they know that they don't have like a perfect power dynamic with. They're too pussy to do it with somebody that could actually uh, talk shit against them, or somebody who the public might actually take the side of. So they look for people like trans people, or right now Hispanic people. Honestly, even among people of color, are not very well expected or respected in America. That rhetoric has been ramped way up. So right now, Hispanic people and queer people are the two kinds of people you can make fun of in America, and nobody's like hardly anybody's going to step to tell you different, right? You're probably not going to get corrected unless you're in a major city or something like that, right outside one maybe. But if you're in a little small town, you can be hateful to Mexicans out in public, and nobody's going to fucking crossword to you. If you're in a little small town somewhere in America, you can be hateful towards queer people in public, and nobody's going to say a crossword to you, unless you're in a queer space or adjacent to one. Bruh talking to himself. Well, number one, it's herself. Number two, I'm a little bit blind, but I think the view number says 276. When's the last time you had 276 people listening to you? Just out of curiosity. Just wondering. Before I take this critical advice of yours. By the way, there's 276 people watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button. If half of you guys hit that like button right now, we would have over 135 likes instantly. So double tap your screen or hit the little like rail somewhere up here. I believe it's somewhere up here anyway. And also, if you want to make absolutely sure that your question gets read, please consider sending a super chat. I do read every single one, as long as it doesn't violate TOS. Thank you so much for participating so far, and let's get back into the chat. How many dislikes? You realize they all count as the same fucking thing on the back end, right? Like, as far as like the reaction number, like I'm pretty sure that the likes number it shows me on here is likes and dislikes. Now I can look on YouTube Studio and find some more detailed information and see exactly where the red lightsaber is in comparison to the gray. But as far as like showing me personally, I don't think it differentiates, because I know the YouTube algorithm doesn't. The YouTube algorithm sees highly liked content and highly disliked content the exact same way. Yep. Sad but true. So let's turn on idiot mode and see if we get any readable chats. Let's just turn on, I hate to do it to them, but let's just turn it on. 1 minute idiot mode with a 15-second message delay should make this a readable chat, because right now things are just going by so fucking quick that I can't even tell what's going on in the chat room. I know like 90% of it is just people talking shit, which is fine, it's whatever, but like if that's going by at a clip of like 2 messages a second, it's unreadable. Even if it would be interesting shit talk, I can't comment on it if I can't read it. Thank God, I know, right? Jesus. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. And consider sending a super chat if you want to make absolutely sure your message gets read. Things should go a little bit slower now that slow mode is on and everything. But if you want to make absolutely sure your voice is part of the conversation, super chat is the only way through which I can guarantee that, because I do read every single super chat as long as it doesn't violate TOS. Hello, love seeing your content, you go girl. Thank you. That makes me feel good. It's always kind to see comments like that. Also, why did you guess that you missed me? Why did, I mean, I just I don't honestly I don't think about most of the chat when I'm going about my daily life, because I've got a pretty busy life as things go. But also I don't feel like it's been that long since you were in a chat. Like I feel like you were in yesterday, but maybe you weren't. Maybe you weren't. Maybe you've been gone for a couple of days. But I probably would have started to miss you if you'd been gone for longer than that, you know? Hello again. Hello. Why did I get banned / put on timeout for calling you a dude last night, dude? Probably because it's a dickhead thing to say to a trans woman? I don't know. Maybe because it's a dickhead thing to say and dickheads only survive here about 50% of the time? I don't know. Maybe consider not being a douchebag and see if your ban rates change. How are you? Shit's rough right now. I'm okay, I guess. Like, okay enough. Yeah, but I think shit is rough right now for a lot of us in general, maybe. And in light of that, it can be kind of hard to be like super cheery about a lot of things in life. But whatever, you got to take your little victories where you can. Look for those if you're feeling down. Like, I did all the laundry today. Yay! You know? Do you think dude is genderless? Can be. If you call someone a dude, no, that's not genderless. But if you call someone dude, like as part of a sentence or something, no. Then yes, I think it is. So like if you say you're a dude, that is not genderless. But if you say what's up, dude, that could be genderless. It's context dependent. Whether or not it is gendered entirely depends on context. Dude, look at my fucking bingo wings, bro. Holy shit. I look like a 45-year-old lady. What happened? Oh well. You literally said you don't ban people for saying stuff like 2 minutes after banning me, so I'm confused. Well, I didn't ban you. What I said is that yeah, we don't have a practice of banning people here for that kind of thing. But also, technically just saying you're a dude does fall under breaking one of the three rules. Our three rules here are readable, original, and interesting. So if your only criticism of me is that you don't think I'm a fucking woman, then I'm sorry. You're probably just going to end up getting banned. If you want to have an argument about the verisimilitude of a trans identity, we can have that conversation. But you better start it off with a specific question about an issue that you have. You better start it off with some kind of demonstration that you've got some kind of thesis behind this shit, that it wasn't merely pulled out of your ass to conveniently serve an argument. Can I call you a dude if we have a real reasoning? What do you mean? What do you mean if you have like a real reasoning? I keep getting put on timeout. I don't know why. I don't know why either, Geraldo. But yeah, those are the rules here. Literally the only rules here or anything. So, readable, original, interesting. No self hate. Now say two nice things you like about yourself. I wasn't self hating. Uh, what? When I made fun of my bingo wings, that wasn't exactly self hating. I don't think that there's anything wrong with being a fat old lady. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a fat young lady. I mean, to a certain point, I guess, like at a certain point, it becomes unhealthy, and at a certain point beyond that, it becomes like tremendously unhealthy. I mean, at a certain point beyond that, it becomes like a burden on the people around you. I think at that point, you're kind of starting to violate the the social compact by being a fucking big giant lard ass. But outside of that, if you can still walk around and like feed yourself and wipe your own ass and shit, you're probably fine. You're probably not like embarrassingly fat in my book. Um, but anyway, two things I like about myself. Um, Fact of it is, I've got a giant ego, so there's a lot of things that I want to say, honestly, when I'm asked this question. Number one, I like the fact that I can play guitar pretty well and that I can learn songs really quickly. And number two, I like the fact that I cut my own bangs, even if they don't look like super professionally done or whatever. Everybody knows their bangs. That's what I care about. What makes you think I don't brush my teeth? Merely because my teeth are yellow does not mean I don't brush them. My teeth are yellow because I smoke and I drink a lot of sweet tea. Actually, I don't drink that much sweet tea anymore. Lately, I've been drinking a lot of agua frescas and a lot of iced coffee. Doesn't smoking marijuana violate TOS? Nope, it doesn't. It may get the video age gated at a certain point if people decide to be little report spamming bitches because they can't stand to see a like differing opinion. But no, smoking cannabis on live does not, no, like in and of itself, no. Now, if I was telling you guys to go out there and start smoking yourselves, that would be a different story. But I'm not. When people ask about cannabis advice, I give them the standard warning that cannabis can be addictive in certain ways, that there are warnings associated with it, and as long as I do that, I'm within YouTube's TOS. No, YouTube has very specific guidelines as to what you can and cannot do, and a lot of it has to do with context. Actually, people act like YouTube's thing about this is completely unreasonable, but it's really honestly not. It's just that YouTube doesn't have a very good apparatus for dealing with it, right? So YouTube's apparatus for dealing with this is just AI and hardly any human intervention. But really, like, the idea of their terms of service, I think, is like pretty allowing in general. So like, you can't promote the use of a drug on YouTube according to YouTube's terms of service, but you can show consumption of a drug as long as it's not being actively glorified, or if you are actively glorifying it, you have to include some kind of content warning. There's like rules about it and shit. But no, it's not generally banned in any way. So I can do coke. I mean, unironically, if you tell people that it's a bad idea, that it's highly illegal, and that you're only doing it for educational purposes, yes. Yes. If you set up the right disclaimer beforehand, yes. Want to know how I know? There are videos of people doing cocaine under those auspices on this platform right now. You know? God, I love America. You gotta, right? You gotta. Crazy how many disrespectful people are in the chat. I may not agree with every single thing you say, but I respect your opinions. Yeah, I mean, like, even if you don't respect my opinions, I appreciate people who are willing to engage in good faith and try to have something like an actual conversation. Like, that's what we're trying to do here, but sometimes it really does feel like pulling teeth, you know? I ain't even gonna lie. Because sometimes people just want to talk shit, and it's fine. Like, we can talk shit, but it gets boring after a while. Shit, dude. Like, how much energy do you really have in your life for just slinging, for how much energy and passion do you really have in your life for just slinging turds at other monkeys and letting them sling turds at you, you know? One has only so deep a well for that kind of thing. Speaking of this stream, make sure you guys hit that like button. If half of you guys hit that like button right now, we would have 60 likes like that. So double tap your screen or hit the little rail over here. It really does help. Help send this channel out to even more people. Help send the stream out, and we get more interesting people in the chat. It sends in some new blood, does all that kind of sort of stuff. So yeah, if you haven't done it already, hit the like button. And if you want to make sure your question gets read, consider sending a super chat. We do read every single one as long as it doesn't violate TOS. Scoots Magoots, you say that, but you're literally addicted to watching me. For everyone watching that's reading the chat, Scoots Magoots has been in like the last 3 or 4 of my nighttime streams, acting like they can't stand me, acting like they've got such a problem with me, all while just barely managing to cover up their throbbing, turgid erection for me. Scoots Magoots is an unserious person. Scoots Magoots is full of shit. To everybody trying to give me diet advice, you can shove it up your ass, please, because I've literally lost 40 pounds over the last year, and I keep going down. So you can shove it up your ass. Whatever solution I've found works for me. Do you have hope for the future of the U.S., or you think we'll end up... That's a lot of caps, Geraldo. Please refrain from caps in the future. I try to read every chat I can. Do you have hope for the future of the U.S., or you think we'll end up like Russia or Turkey? When you say we'll end up like Russia or Turkey, do you mean with like a repressive government and things like that? Maybe. I mean, it's possible. The current government we're under right now has repressive tendencies. The government we're under right now has authoritarian tendencies. So the idea that that could happen is not, it's not out of the, it's not completely out of the blue. It's not completely out of left field, the idea that we could go down that direction. Now, I think America's systems are designed to resist that kind of thing, but whether they successfully will or not, I think that's something you can only leave up to the great march of history, right? Do I think we'll end up that way? No. Do I acknowledge that it's quite possible that we might, given the right, or perhaps you could say wrong, series of decisions? Yes. How did you even achieve this build? Does being a transformer mean you can't get a decent haircut? Yes, actually. That's what also enables me to, like, make myself into a car and drive around. But one of the, like, bad things about that is that you don't get to have a good haircut in your human form. I genuinely like the Peter Griffin frames, and I'm curious with the brand. I thought Peter Griffin wore square glasses. I thought Peter wore square glasses. Am I just misremembering the show? Like, am I remembering some other character or something? I don't know. Like, I wouldn't know what brand these are. They were, like, purchased. Like, literally, the last time I got glasses, Obama was in office. So, like, everything that would have told me the brand of these glasses has worn off from constant use. I mean, I can barely see out of these glasses at this point. I can see well enough to read you guys' chat, but, like, if we actually look at these glasses, like, you see one nose nub is broken off completely, and I don't have a replacement kit for it, so I just haven't fixed it. Plus, some of it's corroded, so I don't even know if I could. This side of the frame is being held on with duct tape, and I have to replace it every so often to make sure it stays good on there. Good old America, the country where you don't have eyes or teeth. Help a fellow trans person out and hand me the puff. What, you want the Nick or the THC? Which one? Which one are you in need of? Don't tell them that, Defy the Deception. Don't tell them that. I can't even see this Brian person. Oh, yeah. See? Yeah, don't tell them that, dude. Christians that want to judge the speck in your eye before removing the mote from their own, they don't like to hear about the fact that Jesus is not a big fan of their method of proselytization. They don't want to hear about the fact that Jesus in the Bible pretty roundly condemns their method of evangelism. They don't want to hear that. If you go to Walmart, sometimes they have spare parts and will fix them for free. Well, like, the truth of it is, like, at least well, honestly, maybe they could replace the frame here. Maybe they could replace this little bar here, um, and make the frame whole again in that way. But honestly, if you actually look at this thing, it's got two different repairs on it. I just forgot to show you guys one. If you look very carefully, I don't even know if the camera will focus on it, but if you look very carefully, there is no bolt on this side of the frame. What I did was I removed all the plastic backing from a bread tie, which is really just a really small strand of strong wire. Removed all the plastic from that, threaded it through, tightened it down once I got the lens in there and scrunched this part down as much as I could, tightened it down as much as I could with a pair of needle nose pliers, and then wrapped the excess around the outside of the frame. So this has a total of 3 pieces of damage to it. 3. So these glasses really just need replaced. Like, the lenses are all fucked up too, so I could get them replaced. But, like, the whole point of me bringing all this up is that, like, I just need new glasses in general. Like, the lenses are all fucked and out of date. The fucking, like, there's repairs on both sides of the frame to make the whole fucking set of glasses just stay together. It's fucked. I work at a bar, and a couple of days ago, I misgendered someone. I'm confused because I said, "What do you guys want to drink tonight?" Like common slang. Do you think I was in the wrong? No, I don't think you were necessarily in the wrong, Elsandre. I think what might have happened is that people are fucking tense right now, and if they think they're in like a safe place, I'm not saying a safe space. I'm just if they think they're in a place that's safe for queer people, where people are super accepting, and that's what they're expecting, then it's almost like they're on a heightened kind of. It's almost like their spidey sense for that kind of thing is heightened, and um, they're I wouldn't say they're looking for a reason to be offended. That would be kind of harsh, but I think that people are very much ready to respond to that kind of thing. Like trans people and queer people are kind of much ready to respond to that kind of to just like homophobia and transphobia in general. And so I think it makes people see it sometimes where it doesn't actually exist. Because if all you said was, "What would you guys like tonight?" I think that that's totally fine. I think you didn't do anything wrong. Maybe, maybe they were from a different part of the country where that's just like way less common. Maybe you ended up with a Portland trans person, because trans people from Portland are like notoriously bad about woke scolding. Um, you know, it's hard to know without knowing more about your situation, but I wouldn't say you're in the wrong. And I wouldn't worry too much about it either. I wouldn't let that color your opinion of all trans people or anything like that, because here I am, a trans woman myself, and I'm saying no. Like if I was sitting at a bar or a restaurant and I was with a group of people and you came up to my table and was like, "What do you guys be having tonight?" Even if it was all women, I wouldn't think twice about it. Like, why would it matter? Like, honestly, I think that the English language's reliance on gendered language and slang is kind of cringe anyway, but that's why I don't take it super seriously. Like, yeah, it might be a little endearing if I'm like at a table with a bunch of other women and somebody comes up and they're like, "All right, girls, what are we going to be having tonight?" Like I might find that endearing, but I'm also not going to find it weird if they come up and say, "What do you guys be having tonight?" or "What do y'all be having tonight?" Something like that. It doesn't bother me. Wouldn't bother me, doesn't bother me, shouldn't bother anybody else. Love the flag. Thank you. By the way, if you want to make sure your question gets read or your message gets read, consider sending a super chat. We read every single one here as long as it doesn't violate TOS. Vance 2028. I'm telling you, dude, Vance is not going to be Trump's protege. Trump himself said so. I tell you what, somebody in here, like another MAGA person, was in here earlier saying that they know somebody who knows somebody who knows Trump Jr. I don't know if that's true, right? I don't know if that's true. They could easily be lying. But they said that he's already looking into running to basically be the replacement for his dad in 2028. Now, like I said, this was just a random person in chat who claimed to know somebody who knows somebody who knows Trump Jr. But big if true. Big if true, because I think the Trump family are actually one of the few people in America that could carry on the MAGA flag. Somebody will. Somebody is going to reach for that power vacuum and take it over, because it's not just the Republican Party now; it's the MAGA Party, and a lot of the old school Republicans that refuse to come over on Trumpism. A lot of them, honestly, are coming out as independents, or you're seeing them vote more with the Democrats and shit like that. I mean, Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, a state I used to live in. So dude used to be one of my senators. Josh Hawley is siding with the Democrats on this bill that's meant to ban stock trading by members of Congress. I support it 100%, and God bless Josh Hawley for fucking helping to get that pushed through, for allying with the Democrats to get something fucking pushed through that's important for the American people. And he was making good arguments for it too. So fuck yeah. I'm actually super fucking glad to hear it. I don't give a shit who does good things for the American people. I don't give a shit what letter is next to their name. I'm just happy when good shit happens for the American people. And you know what would be some good shit happening for the American people? Preventing the American people's lawmakers from profiting off of their fucking position by selling stock trades that they know information about that nobody else does. So they get to make themselves wealthy, while our 401ks just remain subject to the same type of fucking information that every other fucking hedge fund has. Fuck that. Trump is your Lord and Savior? That's fucking cringe, dude. That's just full on cringe. By the way, here in about 20 minutes, we are going to hop off of this stream and we are going to turn this into a busking stream. And that'll be pretty fun. And it'll be $5 a song, so come prepared with donations if you want to hear a song. But that'll be in about 20 minutes. It is currently 12:28, and around 12:50, we are going to turn this into a busking stream, and we're going to play it out until 2 a.m. It was a joke? Oh, okay. As long as it was a joke. You gotta understand, we're all autistics here, okay? We're all dumb autists. We don't know shit. We misread jokes. It happens. I think I saw Ignore earlier, did I not? Oh yeah, I did. What's up, Ignore? Glad to see you've got a membership. Whether it was gifted or whether you paid for it yourself, I'm glad to see you got one. Glitch Dash just be handing out memberships all the time. I think it's Glitch Dash's preferred way to donate at this point, which is pretty cool. I'm all about it. I'm all the fuck about it. Now I just got to figure out. I'm going to start calling Glitch Dash Gift Dash. Yep. Gift Dash. That's my new name. Ah, there he is. What's up, Gift Dash? Gift Dash is the shiznits. God, it's going to be so fucking fun to do this adventure to the meetup. By the way, Glitch, I don't know if you're comfortable with other people driving your vehicle, but if you do want to take turns driving to make better time, I am totally fucking down with that. I drove all over the United States when I was living in my van, from as far east as Salisbury Beach, Massachusetts, as far west as Pismo Beach, California, far north as the White Mountains of New Hampshire, and as far south as Pensacola, Florida. And in all of that time, I never had a single collision. So I am a very fucking good driver, and if that's something that you're cool with, I just want to make sure that you know that I'm totally down for that. Do you like Trump? Why or why not? I'm not a big fan of Trump, no. Honestly, I didn't have high expectations. I mean, I'm a fucking crazy far leftist, you can probably guess, right? But I didn't have super high expectations of Trump when he got into office, but he has actually managed to betray the few things that I thought he would do, right? One of the things I thought he would do is be very quick and decisive with the tariffs, and I thought that maybe that might have some effect, at least in getting maybe some kind of economic activity going here in America that incentivizes countries, if not to bring back manufacturing, then to leave at a slower rate. You know, I thought maybe, but no, it's been a constant trade war, and him and his billionaire crony buddies have all been getting super fucking rich, while the rest of us see our 401ks, if we have them, go up and down, or if we have any stock fucking little bit of shit in the stock market, we're seeing that go up and down. We've got none of this information until it comes out. It's known for perhaps half a day before it's ever known by, it's known for like half a day before it's ever known by any of us. All the trades that are going to be making money off of this shit start to happen, and then by the time the American people know, I mean, it's just a flood to the fucking markets, and everything goes wishy-washy, so that's been pretty fucked up. There's also been the fact that Trump claimed to be an anti-war president. It was a big part of his rhetoric, you'll remember. Trump was all talking about how Biden was getting us into this new war with Ukraine, about how he was going to end that shit so decisively because he actually knows Vladimir Zelensky, Vladimir Putin. He knows Vladimir Putin so well, and he's going to get along with him, and he's going to show him the power of America or whatever, right? And instead, rather than either doing something decisive in Ukraine to push the Russians out and secure the border and start the process of like peacekeeping operations on the border to ensure that security for long enough for NATO to be joined, rather than doing that or completely stepping out of the conflict and at the very least getting American blood and treasure out of the fucking jaws of war, he's done neither of those things. He's continued to ramp up weapons shipments to Ukraine, and at this point, Ukraine is actually actively buying weapons from us, and they're which they were always like getting lend-lease weapons, but now they're actively buying some of them from us. There's also European countries that are buying them for Ukraine. There are all kinds of European countries right now that are buying them for Ukraine, And that's something that Trump has encouraged as part of them stepping up their defenses and like internal defenses and shit, which I guess in a way is kind of a good thing. I'm not altogether too unhappy about Trump trying to make sure that NATO isn't just America, right? Probably good to make sure that it's a collective agreement and that everybody's paying their fair share. I get that, right? But as far as like ending the wars, I don't think he's done very good on that front, especially not when it comes to the Ukraine conflict or the Israel-Gaza conflict. I mean, he, like Israel, has walked away from the fucking peace talks. He has allowed the American government to walk away from the peace talks with Hamas, and he has not provided any sort of consistent or clear, legible plan from right now, where we're at right now, to a post-genocide society in Palestine. So I think he's failed in a lot of key areas that I, as a fucking far leftist, thought maybe he'll be good on these, even if he's terrible on immigration, even if he's terrible on a lot of matters of the economy. Maybe these three things he'll be okay on. Oh, the Epstein files. That was the third thing. I thought he'd release the Epstein files. Instead, he's fighting tooth and nail to make sure that nothing comes out that could possibly incriminate him. Hey, look at that. 2 months, bro. 2 whole months of a fucking membership. That's dope. Thank you. I appreciate that. Trump is the only sitting president to never start a war while in office. He can't do everything all at once. Never start a war while in office. That remains to be seen, my friend. Did Trump or did Trump not authorize U.S. airstrikes in Iran? Did Trump? It's a pop quiz, folks. Did Trump or did Trump not authorize a U.S. airstrike in Iran about a month and a half ago? 2 months ago, give or take. It's so weird that we are even having the debate in the public consciousness over him as if he isn't a stupid, bloated orange sack of garbage, such an orange nightmare. I know. Well, that's the thing. He's literally like absurd as a politician. He's such a ridiculous figure if you think about it. He's literally a fucking reality show star that managed to somehow transplant himself into the fucking presidency. Some would argue that he really didn't even want it in the first place when he fucking first started the process. Michael Moore makes the argument that the only reason we have Trump is because NBC decided to start paying Gwen Stefani more on The Voice than he was getting paid to be on The Apprentice, and so he threw this fucking fake ass presidential conference where, like, there was a bunch of paid extras there and everything, and people would be holding signs, and he did this like giant fucking presidential announcement speech and talked about all these problems, basically designed to get the Republicans, like the Republican voters, fucking just cheering and fucking jeering and everything, and get the Democrats and their supporters and voters all pissed off and mad and angry. And it worked, but the problem is it had the reverse effect it was supposed to have on NBC. And NBC saw that and was like, you've gone insane. Sorry, don't want to do business with you anymore. And they divested themselves from him. He got fired from The Apprentice, and then he actually had to see about this presidential campaign. Well, he did 2 rallies, they were massively popular, and he was like, fuck this, man. Fuck all this bullshit. I'm gonna be the fucking leader of the free world. And I think Michael's right about that. I think that's fucking genuinely true. I need to look into his fucking first conference and see if that shit really was fucking fake. If that shit really was just put on. Oh my god. That is fucking rich because it makes Trump even more absurd of a character. He absolutely did. Yep. He never promised to not do Shadow Wars. Oh, yeah. He never promised to not do Shadow Wars. Right. That makes such a distinction. Well, I mean, he didn't promise to never attack anybody. He promised no wars. This isn't a war. It's a limited military engagement. Come on, keep your terms up. It's not a war. It's a humanitarian operation. Yeah, that's the thing. Whatever wars are still going on from the previous administration become his war unless he ends it. That's why I think that's why I gave Trump credit as an anti-war president at first, because he did in the war in Afghanistan. You have to credit Trump and pretty much no other president with that. Biden chose to go through with the Trump plan for getting out of Afghanistan. Trump, like Biden did not come up with the methodology used to extricate us from Afghanistan. That was something that fucking Donald Trump came up with. Good, bad, right, or wrong, for all of his other failings, Trump wrote up that plan. And I think if you end a war on your term that wasn't started by you, that is just as heroic as not starting any wars, in my opinion. If you manage to end a conflict with a minimum of bloodshed or whatever, then I think you've done as good by your people as you could have hoped to. Don't start any wars, and if you find yourself holding the reins of a war horse, find the quickest way to divest yourself. Confucius say. Where's the war at then? He struck the nuclear site, but no war started from that. I mean, AJ, my point is we have yet, that remains to be seen. It's an act of war. I'm not saying that it counts as starting a war, okay? I'm not making that argument. Yes, it is an act of war, like Ignar said, which I think is egregious enough. I don't think it was a necessary strike because I don't think Iran's nuclear fucking capabilities were anything like the White House was saying. The White House was literally just going along with the Israeli line because Israel wanted an excuse to fuck with Iran. Israel wanted an excuse to fuck with Iran. I think Israel thought that Iran was in a good position materially to maybe have a chance to install the Shah's son as the new Shah, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure will happen within the next year or two. I don't know that, but it's something that's been angling for a while. The Shah's son has been angling for his father's fucking throne for years and years, but in the last 3 years, shit has gotten real intense with it. And this year alone, he has gone to like, I don't know how many, a bunch of different fucking meetings to discuss this very idea and suggesting himself and being suggested by people. The Shah's coming back, baby. You better be ready for it. And I think that before all is said and done, Trump will have participated in starting a war with the US, Israel, and Iran. Now, he hasn't done it yet, and maybe I'm wrong. I account for that. That's fine. Maybe I am. But I don't think I am. Yeah, Biden and Trump both suck. This pointing to the other guy as bad does nothing to bolster the image of your guy. Whataboutism doesn't work here? Yeah, no, it won't. It won't work here because I'm no fan of fucking Biden. I'm not a Kamala simp. I think Biden was a piece of shit to handle Ukraine the way he did. I think that Biden remains a piece of shit for like staying in his fucking hole. He stayed in the entire presidency, and then it comes out in this book, Original Sin or whatever. It comes out that everybody close to the president for years knew that he was fucking failing. They knew that his health was failing, that he was getting demented. It's literally like a Reagan situation. And even Republicans admitted that that wasn't a good look, you know? Even Republicans eventually had to admit, yeah, that wasn't a good look. But somehow Democrats are trying to save face on that shit. And that's why I'm not a Dem, dude. That's why I don't carry Democratic water. Just because I object to Trump, just because I think Trump is a shitty president, doesn't mean I think we had some fucking great option on the other side. Sometimes things just suck. Sometimes, especially when it comes to politics, things just suck. Sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. I didn't say that Trump started a war because a war from the previous administration dragged on into his administration. What I'm saying is that he's a piece of shit if he does nothing to end it. What I'm saying is that if you choose to escalate a war that you receive rather than end it, you're a piece of shit who is a warmonger just as much as the dude before you was. If you get elected to high office in this country and you decide to continue going on with the war actions of the previous administration, I think you're a fucking piece of shit. I think you're a warmonger. I think if you weren't a warmonger, then you would be de-escalating and trying to figure out ways to get out of that conflict. But that's not what Trump has done. He has helped Israel escalate their conflict, not just against Palestine, but against their neighbors in the Middle East. He has helped Ukraine to further bolster their arms and their equipment, and he's continued to provide them with aid and intelligence and all this stuff. So. All you're saying is Trump is actively telling Putin to end the war and is giving him deadlines. Well, I'll tell you when I'll consider Trump an okay dude in the Ukraine situation, AJ. I'll tell you what my standard is, okay? If Trump actually gives him a deadline and then does decisive action in Ukraine with U.S. troops and equipment to obliterate the Russian hold and push it back, and then starts peacekeeping operations in that region to ensure no further entrenchments, or I'm sorry, no further encroachments on Ukrainian sovereignty, if he decides to do some decisive action like that after those deadlines are met, or if he manages to do diplomacy, which I think would be the better option. I think that would be preferable, right? If he can manage to get some kind of diplomatic fucking solution through by the time of that deadline, and if that deadline has come, then I think if he does decisive action and actually manages to end the conflict long term and installs a peacekeeping force there to make sure that Russian fucking that basically the Russian aggression isn't encroaching on Ukrainian territory, and preferably starts a program of funding that allows that peacekeeping group to stay there for the next 5 years, long enough to ensure that there is no border dispute, long enough to ensure that Ukraine can legally be allowed into NATO. I think that that would be an actual path towards the end of the war. That's what the end of this conflict looks like, in my mind. Because it's gone on fucking far too long. Our choices now are withdraw completely and leave Ukraine to the tender, loving grace of fucking Russia, which does not sound like very appealing to me, or try our very best for diplomacy, and failing that, we just fucking codswallop the fuck out of Russia and its presence in Ukraine, push them out of the country, and, you know, set up for as long as we have to preserve peace. In that respect, I can only say, let's see, you know? My thing is, I don't think a war ever needs to start. I don't think a war ever needs to fucking start. Ever. I think that every war that ever started could have been prevented by the correct amount of diplomacy, and failing diplomacy, I honestly think covert operations are way better than all-out wars, you know? Like, I think if they couldn't have diplomatically uh, prevented Hitler from taking over a bunch of Europe, if they couldn't have diplomatically intervened in the German situation, I think that the next best option would have been like a CIA fucking op to kill every high-level Nazi leader. I think that would have been preferable to war. And if you're going to go to war, I think quick, decisive. I think quick and decisive is always better than long and protracted. Quick and decisive is always better. Quick and decisive is always easier on the fucking population. It's always fucking easier on the soldiers, frankly. And especially in the modern day where we've got the ability to put so many people behind armor, or put so many people in weapons that give them distance between the enemy and them, I really don't see why America wouldn't do that kind of strategy in that situation. Just get in there quick and dirty. By the way, the busking stream will be starting here in just a couple of minutes. Here in a minute, I'm going to turn this little stream off, and then I'm going to go use the bathroom. If anybody wants to super chat right now, just for, like enjoying the conversation or whatever, feel free. But also $5 a song here in the next upcoming stream. I'm going to do a busking stream, and those are really fun. Had a good time last night, hoping to have a good time again tonight. So we'll see where we go. I kind of feel like Russia will just keep going with this conflict and just pick off American positions like they are with Ukraine right now, just end up escalating it. But it's just a hunch. Hopefully not if it comes like that. Yeah, I don't think that Russia's going to keep, like, and that's the thing, is that America really could, if we wanted to commit troops and equipment to this conflict, we really could run Russia out of this. Like, we really could, I think, run Russia out of the Ukraine. But that's what it would take, It would take the involvement of American arms and equipment and personnel. Well, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to Russia, they don't have anything on our air superiority. They don't have anything on our navy. They don't have anything, which, not that, but honestly, like in the south of Ukraine, that might have a difference. That might make a difference legitimately. So we would want to get involved. Why? Because we're already involved. What do you mean? We're already involved. There have already been like inklings and hints of American like there, like, number one, there are already American mercenary companies operating in Ukraine, so there's already minor American civilian involvement at the very least, or I guess like non-civilian military contractor involvement. um there's heavy involvement from the weapons industry here in America. Man, that's weird when you're talking about military shit and you suddenly hear a helicopter. Anyway, we're already involved. It's just a choice of, do we involve ourselves decisively and end this conflict for good, or do we allow it to go on forever, poisoning the minds, hearts, and bodies of people for generations to come? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Please come by and see my busking stream here in a minute. I'm going to go use the bathroom and do that kind of thing. And I will be back with you guys here in a few minutes. Thank you so much.